Hi, Tahar here from the Qoblex team. In today's walkthrough, we are going to look into creating purchase orders within Qoblex. The first thing we're going to do is to head over to our purchases list, which is under stock control. On the top right corner, you have the create button from where you can create your purchase orders. Qoblex has support for two types of orders. Regular orders, which are your typical purchase orders used for tracking purchases, bills, goods receipt notes, and things like that. And freight orders. And freight orders is a special type of a purchase order where you only track your landed costs, things like freight, transportation costs, and things like that. Today, we're going to focus on regular orders. To create an order, click on regular order. Then you select a supplier to whom you're going to send this order. Let's go for Leonardo here. Enter the supplier purchase order number. In this case, if you have a number from your supplier, you would enter it here. If you don't, then just leave it blank and the system will automatically generate the number for you. Supplier reference is the reference you get from your supplier. You can pick a currency for your purchase order. Qoblex has support for up to 200 currencies. As soon as I select a currency, in my case here, my account is set up to track my purchase orders in US dollars. And I can change this to, let's say, Euro. And as soon as I pick a currency, the system will suggest an exchange rate to use for that transaction. The exchange rate remains editable, so it can be changed at any point in time until you have built your purchase order, at which time the order will be, or the currency exchange rate will be locked. The ship to is the location where the order is going to be sent to. Note that in Qoblex, you can receive stock in different locations. The ship to here is mainly for Qoblex to keep track of the incoming stock. As we are not aware of where your stock is going to be received yet, we need a location where we would show the incoming stock. The bill to is usually your supplier's HQ location or HQ address. Created at is the date and time where the order is being created at. It's typically set to today, but you can backdate this if necessary. The due date is when the order is due. Price list is the prices that you, or the custom prices that you define for your products for your different suppliers. So say, for example, you have 10 suppliers and they all sell you the same product for different prices. You can track those prices within these price lists. Now, it's important to pick a price list before you start adding your line items. Price lists are important if you have the same product delivered by different suppliers and they charge you for different prices. In that case, you would create price lists in Qoblex and you would assign those to your suppliers so that when you create a purchase order against that supplier, the system will automatically pick it up and it will suggest it in the price list here. If you haven't set a price list to your supplier yet, you can pick one from the drop down here. And it is important that you select the price list before you start adding your products. This is so that we know where to pull the purchase prices from before we add them to the purchase order. If you don't select a purchase price list prior to adding your line items, the system will pick up the purchase price values that you have defined under each product details. You can also configure whether the order is tax inclusive or exclusive. And at this stage, we are ready to add line items to our PO. We'll click on add line item, then start searching for your products. In our case, let's add a couple of snowboards. But what if I wanted to add something else that is not a snowboard? Let's say I wanted to add shoes. You don't need to click on add and then open the dialog again. All you need to do is just change the search term. So in this case, I'll change this to shoes. I'll pick this item and this item. Once I'm done with looking for all of the products that I would like to add to the PO, I can click on the variant selected to see everything that I have selected so far. Again, you don't need to close the dialog every time you need to pick a product that is different from those you've already selected or that you can find with a different search term. All you have to do is just keep searching and adding and selecting the items to the purchase order, and they will all be available under the selected variants list. If you change your mind at this point in time, you can just unselect the items and we'll remove them from the list. We also offer 4 other type of filters by which you can use or by which you can filter your products. So you can filter products by supplier, You can filter products by type, by brand, or by a specific tag. So at this stage, I'm ready to approve the PO. But before we do that, let's first go through the different columns that you see in the purchase order details. So the first one is the product name. The second one is the unit of measure. The unit of measure is not on by default on your account. So if you don't see the units of measure column, that means that option is disabled under your inventory settings. So you would enable that under account settings, inventory, then you turn on the units of measure. Now, this is quite important. For those of you who, for example, order products in a unit that is different from that you use to track the product in your inventory, then units of measure are quite useful. For example, let's say I'm receiving this snowboard in pallets of 12 or boxes of 50 items at once. I don't have to enter 50 here because my supplier is selling these items in pallets or boxes. Instead, I can say, okay, I'm going to receive 1 unit of a box of 10. At this stage, when I receive the product, or when I receive this line item, the system will automatically convert this 1 unit of box of 10 into the unit of measure that I'm using to track this collection of snowboards. Received column is useful to show you and to see at a glance how many of these units you have received so far. Price is obviously the purchase price, so I can change this one to something meaningful. Purchase tax is the tax that you need to set for these different line items. Other costs is landed costs from your custom items within the same PO or from a freight PO that are being applied to these line items. And the total is the total of the line plus any extra costs. And we'll cover these extra costs in a minute. So at this stage, I'm ready to save the PO, and I can move ahead to adding custom line items. So let's say this PO has a shipping line of 1,000 euros. I would add it here as a landed cost, and I would set 1,000 euros here. Now, as I save, the system will automatically pick that line item, that custom line item, and it will divide it across the products that I have in my purchase order. So as you can see, the other cost here, the value used to be 0, but now it turned to a meaningful value. So all we did here is we took this 1,000 euros and we divided them by these line items. And the division is currently, or the distribution is currently done by value, meaning the most expensive item would get the majority share of that landed cost. So if you look at these items, we have these snowboards, they cost 500 euros per unit, and the shoes 500 euros per, and we have 500 in the order. So these two lines would obviously get the largest share of that landed cost. It might happen that you track line items or custom line items of type expense. For example, if you have customs VAT, that's an expense that you should not distribute across your items, because VAT is not something you would factor into your moving average cost. In that case, you add it under here. And make sure you set the type to expense. This way, the system won't distribute it across the line items that are in the PO. You can add tags to your purchase order. This is quite useful if you want to have search filters or custom views where you view certain purchase orders. You can do that. You just add a tag here, and then in the purchases view, you would create a custom filter that shows you only the purchases that have a specific tag. You can link orders between themselves. Usually, if you have a made-to-order business, you would receive sell orders, but you don't have stock yet, so you need to order that stock. What you would do is you would create a purchase order out of those sell orders. And it would be useful for you and your team to actually link the purchase order with the sell order it originated from. One way to do it is you go here under related orders, you search for the sell order, and you would link them. Set the type to back order. And that's it. So now we have the orders that are appearing here. If I click the links, they will take me to the corresponding sell order. And within that sell order, the same link will also be visible there. So you can go from the sell order back to the purchase order. These links can be created between purchase orders themselves. They can be created between purchase orders and sale orders, and between purchase orders and manufacturing orders. If you have any attachments, like any documentation that you receive from your supplier that you would like to track in Qoblex, you can attach those as file attachments. This way, everything will be managed within one workspace. You can approve the order once you're sure of all of the details that you have recorded. You can still change quantities, you can change the units, you can change prices, you can change taxes. Even after you approve the order, some of these fields will remain open for edits, such as quantity and prices. You can edit the purchase order. So at this stage, again, even if these lines are editable, you can do things like moving lines to back orders. It might be that you're not receiving some of these lines in this specific PO. So what you need to do is select the line items that you want to move out to another PO and go to Edit, Move to Back Order. You can print your purchase orders using a template. We'll cover the templates in a separate video because these can get quite complex, I would say. We have two types of templates in Qoblex. You have the simple templates, which 99% of the time is what you need. We have a full-blown designer where you would design your purchase order documents. If you need more customization, i.e., for example, if you want to have 100% control over the look and feel of your purchase order document, then you would go for a docx template. The majority of our customers go for the designer because the docx, they're using mail merge technology, and it might be a little bit complicated to build a template out of that. Once you pick a template, just click on print and we'll print the order into that template. Another useful functionality in Qoblex is you can email your purchase orders right from Qoblex to your suppliers. You don't need to go to your email client. All you need to do is click on the envelope. Then you pick who from your supplier is going to receive the purchase order. You can CC yourself or anyone from your team or someone else from the customer's contact list. Set the subject. You pick a template to use to print the document, because what this is going to do is it will print the purchase order into a PDF document and will attach it to an email and send it off to your supplier. You can also pick an email template. If you have the same message that you are sending over and over to your suppliers, you can save those as templates and then you would use them. Or you can write the email content into the message box that you see here. Once you're done, click on send and we'll take that email and we'll send it off. Other things you can do from this view, you can clone the purchase order. If you have a recurring purchase order from your supplier, you can go to the original PO and just click on clone, and then we would create a new one for you. Another useful option that we have in Qoblex too is you can create purchase orders out of sale orders. So I can go here and I can pick my orders that require stock, go to bulk actions, and then create purchase order. What this will do, it will look into all of the sale orders, will grab the line items, it will sort them by supplier, and then will create as many POs as you need. You can also create POs from the forecasting report, from the low stock report as well. So this gives you an idea of how you can create purchase orders in Qoblex. In our next videos, we're going to look into how you would receive a purchase order and how you would bill and close a purchase order. We're then going to look into landed costs and advanced landed costs, which are an important topic to accurately track your inventory valuations accurately. So there you have it, a quick look into our purchase order creation workflow. If you have any questions, drop them below and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Or you can email us at support@qoblex.com and we'll be more than happy to get back to you. Thank you.